This is lesson 3.3, Rate of Change and Slope. Your objectives are to use rate of change to solve problems and to find the slope. The rate of change tells, on average, how a quantity is changing over time. You'll compare the y values with the x values and how they change over time. Number 1. The graph shows the predicted life expectancy for men and women born in a given year. A. Find the rates of change for women from 2000 to 2025 and 2025 to 2050. So women is the top line. For the first range, we'll do the change in age divided by the change in time. The change in their age was 84 minus 80. Remember, do the new one minus the old one. Change in time is 2025 minus 2000. And that's 4 over 25. For the next range, that'll be 87 minus 84, because you're doing the age at 2050 minus the age at 2025. And that's over 2050 minus 2025, which is 3 over 25. For the first one again, we did 84 minus 80 right there, 2025 minus 2000 right there. For the second range, you're doing 87 minus 84 and 2050 minus 2025. So organize it and do the newer one minus the old one. B. Find the rates of change for men from 2000 to 2025 and from 2025 to 2050. So from 2000 to 2025 first, we'll do the change in age divided by the change in time. Do the new minus the old. The new age would be 78 minus the old age 74 over the new time 2025 minus the old time 2000. And that's 4 over 25. For the next range, do the new age 81 minus the old age 78 over the new time 2050 minus the old time 2025. And that's 3 over 25. Organize it. Make sure you're using the right number, and do the new one minus the old one. C. Explain the meaning of your results. Well, a rate of 4 over 25 means that your life expectancy increases by 4 years every 25 years. So in 25 years, the oldest people will be 4 years older. A rate of 3 over 25 means the life expectancy increases 3 years for every 25 years. So in 25 more years, the oldest people will be only 3 years older. D. What pattern do you see in the increase with each 25-year period? Well, the pattern is that the life expectancy increases too. As time increases, the life expectancy increases. E. Make a prediction for the life expectancy for 2050 to 2075 and explain how you arrived at your prediction. Well, women would probably live to be 90 and men would probably live to be 84 because at that time, every 25 years, the life expectancy goes up about 3 years. If it keeps with the trend from the section before. The slope of a line is the ratio of change in the y-coordinates, which is the rise, to the change in the x-coordinates, which is the run. as you move in the positive direction. Y-coordinates go up and down, that's why that's called a rise. X-coordinates go left and right, that's why it's called a run. And you have the formulas. M equals rise over run, or M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The order is very important there, so make sure you don't mix them up. Always do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And when you work that out, if the slope is positive, your line will tip up from left to right. If it's negative, it'll go down from left to right. A slope of 0 is horizontal, and a slope that's undefined is vertical. Find the slope of the line that passes through each pair of points. Number 1, 4, 9, and 1, 6. Use the slope formula. y2 is 6, y1 is 9, x2 is 1, x1 is 4. That's negative 3 divided by negative 3, which is 1. Use the slope formula, substitute your values in, and simplify it. For number 2, use the slope formula. y2 is negative 5, y1 is negative 1, over x2 is negative 2, minus x1 is negative 4. Watch your minus signs there. You're subtracting a negative, which means add a positive. Negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. Negative 2 plus 4 is 2. And negative 4 over 2 is negative 2. Always watch your signs. Pay attention to the negatives there. For number 3, y2 is negative 5 minus y1 is negative 1 over x2 is negative 4 minus x1 is negative 4. Again, minus a negative is add a positive. Negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. And you can't divide by 0, so that's undefined. This is one of our vertical lines. Remember, when the 0 is under, it's undefined. That's how you remember. When the 0 is under, it's undefined. Number 9. M equals y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. y2 is 3.5 minus y1 is 3.5 all over x2 is negative 4 minus x1 is 4. 3.5 minus 3.5 is 0. Negative 4 minus 4 is negative 8. And 0 divided by negative 8 is 0. That's a horizontal line. So use your slope formula, substitute the values in, and simplify it. Find the value of r so the line that passes through each pair of points has the given slope. Number 10. Notice, we're not looking for the slope this time. We're given the slope, and we're looking for one of the coordinates. So we'll still use the slope formula, except now we'll be substituting in a number for the slope, and we'll be looking for either an x or a y. So let's substitute. M is 1. y2 is negative 2 minus y1 is 8 over x2 is r minus x1 is 6. And we'll solve this for r. Simplify it a little bit. Negative 2 minus 8 is negative 10. And now let's put the slope over 1 to make it a fraction, and we can cross multiply. Whenever one fraction equals another fraction, remember, you can just cross multiply. We'll do 1 times r minus 6 equals 1 times negative 10. So there's 1 times r minus 6. Notice r minus 6 is in parentheses because it's 1 times the whole thing, equals 1 times negative 10. Well, 1 times r minus 6 is just r minus 6. And 1 times negative 10 is negative 10. If you add 6 to both sides, that cancels out the 6 on the left, and negative 10 plus 6 is negative 4. So substitute the values in and solve for the r. Number 11. Do the same thing. Let's substitute the values in and solve. M is 3/4 equals y2 is r minus y1 is negative 3 over x2 is 7 minus x1 is negative 1. So get the values substituted in and then solve for r. You can simplify a little bit first. R minus negative 3 is really r plus 3. 7 minus negative 1 is 7 plus 1, which is 8. And now cross multiply. It'll be 4 times r plus 3 equals 3 times 8. So for parentheses r plus 3, remember to put the r plus 3 in parentheses because it's 4 times the whole thing, equals 3 times 8. Instead of distributing, I'm going to leave the 4 out there, and I'll just divide by it here in just a minute. But first, 3 times 8 is 24. Instead of distributing, because I know I'll just have to come right back and divide by that 4 again later, I'll just divide by the 4 now. So we'll divide both sides by that 4. 4 divided by 4 cancels on the left, leaving r plus 3. And 24 divided by 4 is 6. Now subtract that 3 since it's being added, and r is 3. So remember, substitute in and cross multiply and solve. You could have done the distributive property and worked it out in the end like a two-step equation, but it saves you a step if you go ahead and divide there early. Number 15. Let's substitute the values in and then solve. M is 6 equals y2 is 9, that's the second y, minus y1 is 5, that's the first y, all over x2 is r, that's the second x, minus x1 is 7, that's the first x. Simplify that. 9 minus 5 is a 4. And then so we can cross multiply, let's put the 6 over 1. And it'll be 6 times r minus 7 equals 1 times 4. Remember to put the r minus 7 in parentheses. And thinking ahead here, 1 times 4 is 4, and that's not divisible by 6. So let's go ahead and do the distributive property here. On the left, 6 times r is 6r, minus 6 times 7 is 42. And on the right, 1 times 4 is 4. Now remember, I did that because I know that 4 is not divisible by 6, so this will keep me from having fractions till the very end. And remember, you can distribute every time if you want. We were just saving a step by doing that before. Now I'm just left with a two-step equation. Remember, add or subtract first. So let's get rid of the 42. It's being subtracted, so do the opposite and add it to both sides. Negative 42 plus 42 cancels on the left, leaving 6r. And 4 plus 42 is 46. Finally, divide both sides by 6. And r equals, you can simplify that. Those are both divisible by 2, making it 23/3. So sometimes r is a fraction, and that's fine. Whatever it is fine. It could be a fraction, it could be positive or negative, it could be 0. Just remember, you find it by substituting all the values in, setting up for cross multiplication, and then finish solving for r. So remember to use the slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. That's the second y minus the first y over the second x minus the first x. In each of these, all we're doing is substituting in the values we know and solving for what we don't. Most of the time, you'll be solving for the slope. But sometimes you'll be given one of the x or y coordinates as a r, and you'll have to solve for that. So substitute in, solve it, finish it up.